It's not even.
We are live. Hey, Healing Journeys Today, family. It's so good to see you.
Okay, we have to smile for like 2 seconds only because the thumbnail picks it up hardly. So
Wait, we
smile.
need a thumbnail. There we go. So there you go. So now the computer will hopefully grab that image.
I hope
as,
so.
As opposed to like this one, for the.
Well, I always look so mean.
I was gonna say, yeah. I wonder
I do.
Julieann, why do you think that is? And what's the
don't know.
title of our episode today? Why are we so mean to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. But before we get there, thanks for watching Healing Journeys Today. Don't forget to like and share this video. Please subscribe to the channel. If you are a married person or you're going to get married or you've been married, Lisa Johnson's on. Hello.
Hello, Lisa.
Amazing Lisa, who's one of our biggest supporters. Or if you're in a relationship, this is the show for you. We're Butch and Julieann Hartman. This is HARTbeat. We are here because we've been married 29 years.
Something went right.
Yes, or we just, for some reason, we can't find the key to the handcuffs. It's one of those two things. So we are here because we want to help you get a better understanding of what it takes to have a good relationship because we, like I said.
Yeah.
Now, we've been married, gosh, I got married to you. You're the only one I've ever been married to. And I was married when I was 27. In 1992, we got married. I was 27.
I was turning 30 that year.
Yeah, but it's amazing because this year in May 9th, of 2022, which I'm still mind-boggled by, will be our 30th wedding anniversary.
God, I can't even believe it.
What are you guys gonna do for our 30th wedding anniversary?
Hey, we're gonna have a party.
Yeah, exactly.
An online party.
Who do we got? We got Nairobi. We got Tyler. We got Lisa. I got Chrissy. Krisy. We are so glad you guys are here today. Hey, look, the title of our episode today is "Why Are We So Mean to Each Other?"
I'm looking to see if our anniversary falls.
I'm trying to get into the.
No, I know, but I'm looking to see if our anniversary falls on a Wednesday.
May 9th.
April.
May the 9th.
It falls on a Monday.
It's a Monday this coming.
But that's all right. We'll be seeing you on that Wednesday.
Now we've been contemplating taking a cruise, and we haven't taken a cruise in a long, long time. Has anybody out there been on a cruise lately? And if so, how's the cruise?
Because of COVID.
Well, but how's that? Well, people are going on cruises.
That's true.
It has changed. But if you've been on a cruise, let us know if they're any good. If we should go on one, we don't really know.
Well, we're thinking about going on like a European, like something like a Viking, like cruise line. Anyway, they don't need to know.
Lisa says, can I ask a question I would have last week?
Oh my God, yes.
Of course you can, Lisa. But we want to hear.
And if anybody has questions from last week, please ask.
Any question from last week or any previous broadcast, let us know. Any questions right now, put them in the chat. We are so grateful when you guys interact with us. We want to interact with you as well.
Think about it. In a marriage, that's what communication is, right? Well, on something like this that we're teaching, the more you can communicate with us and let us know, what maybe you guys are struggling with or what, something you can maybe make a little bit better, whatever it might be, let us know so we can help you. We do actually counsel a lot of people in marriage.
Oh, this is great. Nicholas, I think it's Nicholas says, Nasitas, excuse me. Wow, I'm able to watch live from the Philippines. Mr. and Mrs. Hartman, I'm an avid fan of you both. I watched the replay of your testimony and Healing is Yours in 2021. Well, that was a real successful day for us. Thank you so much for that. We had a really good time that day. And I got a real good reaction from the audience that day. And it was really wonderful. So thank you, Nasitas. I got that right.
From the Philippines. That's amazing.
From the Philippines. We're so grateful here. Okay.
I'm glad the timing worked out.
What timing is that?
The timing for them in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What time is it? Is it like midnight in the Philippines right now?
I don't know. Let us know.
It's 5 p.m. in California right now on Wednesday night. So anyway, here we go. So why are we so mean to each other? Julieann, why do you think?
No, I get to ask you.
Okay, go ahead.
Why are you so mean to me sometimes?
Am I mean to you?
No. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about
as a married couple. Why do married couples act mean?
Oh, there's lots of reasons.
Toward each other. Why? Okay, you and I, let's start there.
Okay, one thing usually, this is not our situation, but it almost was about 25 years ago, was finances.
Yeah.
That is a time when people start getting angry and getting a little nervous.
The blame game, fear. When fear comes in, whether it's finances or health or anything like that, when fear comes in, insecurities begin to rise and accusations start because accusations are all based on fear too. Well, it's your fault. It's your fault.
I'm going to say that's really what you want to do. Yeah. Hi, Debbie, love you. And then also Sonia, we'll be seeing you next week.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So what what makes those things happen? Number one is finances, I believe.
That's a big one. Finances is one. Also, for example, sometimes when, and I'll just say this as the male of the relationship, when the male doesn't feel respected, I'm not saying the woman's not respecting the man. When the man doesn't feel respected, that can lead to some feelings of anger. And when the woman isn't feeling loved, that can lead to some feelings of anger as well. Plus, there's a lot of things we get very concerned about our looks. People like to look good. Sometimes people can feel insecure about how they look. And as a result, they lash out at the spouse because, let's say the spouse didn't do anything, but let's say they're out in public and a good-looking person walks by and the spouse thinks that spouse looked at that person or something like that. Insecurity is what I'm saying. I didn't do it. I've never looked at anybody.
No, I know that, but listen,
ever in public.
There was.
So we're clear.
Yeah, no, I trust me. I had a boyfriend once and I was like, in my 20s, and I was hot. Okay,
very hot. She's still hot.
Still would look at
how hot this is.
But this guy that I was dating, and I would get so mad.
See, she had a boyfriend, and does that make me insecure now? You talk about your old boyfriend?
No.
Well, no, it doesn't, but it could.
Well,
if I allowed myself.
Obviously, we've been together 30 years, so.
Well, by the way, our friend Nasita says it's 9 a.m. in the Philippines. That's why most of the time he watches the episode of the Healing Journeys Today replay. Very good. It's 9 a.m. in the Philippines.
Now, wait, let me finish my thought, and then we're going to get to Lisa.
Yeah.
But that could be really annoying because honestly, at that time I was young. I was anorexic, so I was really skinny.
Now that's a whole other thing right there. We can talk
about
that.
I just threw that out there. I was anorexic, so I was really skinny.
No big deal.
I worked out and all that stuff, and it's like, come on, why are you looking? I'm like 23 or 24. Why are you looking at other girls? Like, that's not right. And
you're probably really shy. You would never confront anybody, would you?
Or I did all the time, but we just were not. We were not meant for each other whatsoever. So let me see what Lisa says.
Yep. Lisa says, I wanted to ask what it was like going from one child to two, how Carly was like when you were expecting Sophia, and just the whole transition and how different it was. I think me and my husband are past our fears to expand our family. Wow. Great question. So go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, when you're pregnant, you go, oh, this will be great. I've got a built-in helper. I've got all that. And believe me, Carly she was so excited about getting a brother or a sister. Because
Carly was 2 years and 3 months.
Yep. Yeah. So excited. But what I love though is that we did plan to have, we got pregnant when Carly was 18 months. So at that point, she was already, of course, out of diapers. She was, at preschool, all that stuff. So that really did help, because that's really the hardest part, is when you've got two little babies. Anybody that has multiples or has them right in a row, I'm like, I just give you all the praise for that, because I don't know how I would not have been able to do that. But anyway, so when Sophia came around, it was a little weird at the beginning. Carly wanted a baby sister so bad. She got one, and then she saw all the attention that was going to the baby sister. And then it was like, oh, maybe I don't like this.
It's so weird. I would always tell you, if you want to expand your family, you go right ahead, because you'd be a great mother. And why not
yes, have multiples.
You've already been a great mother to your current child. Why not be a great mother to two children? If you can have more than one child. And listen, we know that money gets tight. We know that people say, I don't want to do it till I'm ready. And I completely get that. But sometimes if you wait till you're ready, you'll never feel like you're ready. You know what I mean? So you're already so capable with one child. Having another one means now you each get to hold one. You've already been through it once. You have a lot of experience with the first child. So now you have experience with the second. You'll have more experience with the second child. It'll be a lot easier.
It does get easier. And I wanted to pause 1 second and tell Valdo, hey, we miss you. We have not seen you in a while.
Valdo!
We had no way of getting a hold of you.
Valdo says, everyone praise the Lord. Valdo, we miss you.
We miss you, but I had no way of getting your number to call you.
Get a hold of us.
Where the heck are you? You got to check in with
How do we even get a hold of us? Valdo, email me. Email me at askbutchhartman@gmail.com and send me your info. Yes. Askbutchhartman@gmail.com.
Okay.
In fact, I'll put it in the comments here, and you guys can email me if you want to. That's my public email.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to pause on that for a second because Valdo comes to our Bible study and Church in the Park, and we haven't seen him in a while. So he's in Florida. Okay. That's why. Well, that's all right. But Valdo, please give your information now so we can get a hold of you.
I'm leaving my email.
About you, and we're praying for you and wanting to make sure that everything is okay.
So there's I just put my personal email, my business email in the chat. You guys can all email me there. The public knows that. So there you go.
So anyway, yes, that is it'd be a very smooth transition. It could be a rough one if your first child does not mind you. If your first child is out of control, that could be really hard. Yeah. But you're a great mom, and I never met your husband. I'm sure he's a great dad. So I'm sure that you guys have an amazing daughter, which I know you do. And so with that in mind, I mean, it's only going to benefit. Do you realize they're going to be kids for this long, but they're going to be adults on this earth for this long?
And keep in mind too, we wouldn't recommend this if there was a couple that we've met many couples who are just not making it as a couple. They're having a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
We don't recommend those type of people if they don't have any more children. If they don't have to, we try and say, look, maybe you guys should get your relationship stronger before you have more children. We never tell anybody what to do. We'll just recommend. But in a situation where there's a loving family, loving parents that are very capable, if you can have another child, I think it'd be wonderful for you.
Yes, and and I know that you guys are not thinking this, but for maybe people to come, don't have another baby because you think it's going to save your marriage. It's not, because the more kids you have, the less time you have together. And that's not how you build a marriage. That's not how you save a marriage. That's not how you, make your marriage better. It just isn't. So you got to work on your marriage first before you start bringing in all these kids, because if you or the spouse ends up leaving and now you've got, now you're going to be a single parent with kids that are going to be hurt, because divorce hurts and they don't understand it. And that was me. I was a product of divorce many times, and you don't understand it. And it's very traumatizing. It can be. So just want to throw that in there. So let's go back to what we were saying about
I was going to say, let's go back. Why are we so mean to each other? Now, there's a situation right there. Perfect example. We're having more kids and money's tight. And, if the husband and wife are a team and they're together and they want to get through it, you guys can do anything. But it's when one of the spouses becomes more self-centered, then it gets very, very tricky. Or if both spouses become self-centered, it's very hard to build a cohesive unit if it's all about you and all about you. It's got to be about us, is what it's got to be.
That's
what will we do together? Not what will I do and what will I do. I always encourage people to hang around good marriages. If you didn't come from a situation where there was a good marriage in your life as a child, find some people that have been married for a while that you think is a great marriage, and maybe just learn from them. Figure out what makes them tick. Why are they like this? Any sort of example of success in any area, you should try and hang around. Like if you wanted to invest in the stock market, would you hang out with a person who's not good at stocks or someone who's good at stocks? You'd hang out with the successful person just to see what they do. That's what you want to do. So
there's lots of, oh my gosh, on YouTube and there's all kinds of videos about about how to have a good marriage, and having people that are teaching that do have a good marriage. Like what qualifies a good marriage. I think we're going to do that one. We'll like teach on that whole topic one more time, because marriage involves two people that come from two different backgrounds that are experiencing life every single day, facing things that maybe they've never faced before, facing things that are, that we're learning from. And the way let's face it, look at this world, what happened. We had more people tell us like, oh, don't know if I like my spouse so much, because now when COVID hit, they were home all the time together, and they realized, well, we have nothing in common, and you really irritate me. And we heard that a lot. And so that, not you, I'm saying
I know she's talking about me secretly, but I'm just going to
No, I am not. That is not subliminal at all. But no, we hear those stories about people saying like, look, I don't know you, because when we got married, before we had children, it was just the two of us, and you'd go to your job and you'd go to your job, and we'd meet at night. But now, this has been 15, 20 years, and, our kids are involved, and I don't know you anymore. and all that. And so what happens when two people have grown apart, but they're still living together, that's when you start getting the meanness, where the short answers and just the, I don't know, sometimes the mean accusations. I don't want to say anything too hard because I'm not talking about abuse. Right. Okay, so we're not talking about somebody abusing you. That would just be awful. No, you don't stay for that to be abused every day. But you can work things out as far as like, why are you being so mean? Did you have a bad day? Like, let's talk about it. What happened to make you have this attitude where I'm like, I wasn't your problem, but now I'm getting the result of your problem, and that's not fair.
I was going to say too, you said something.
That was really good what I just said.
It was amazing. It was really good. I'm trying to find the applause button. If you guys have an applause button out there, please play it in your house. Very good. But I wanted to say too, there's one key word you mentioned in there, and I think you said live together. Is that what you said? Was it
I said you're married, and you live together.
I wanted to stop there because a lot of people are in a relationship and they live together, but they're not married. And that can also cause you to be mean to each other because neither one of you have committed to the relationship 100%.
Yes.
Or maybe both of you haven't committed to the relationship. It's a much different relationship when you commit to something as when you don't commit to something. If you're in it with an escape clause, well, I had an individual I knew years ago that was dating somebody, and for years and years and years, they lived together but weren't married. And I was always asking, why aren't you married? Well, just keep my options open. But it had been like 15, 16 years.
Options open.
How many options are you keeping open? I just found it interesting that this individual wouldn't marry the person they were with. Now,
that's very hurtful to the spouse.
Do you have to get married? You don't have to do anything.
No.
But when you're going to go into a relationship with somebody long term, I would like to ask, why aren't you getting married? That's just a question. Why? Yeah. And ask the spouse, why aren't we getting married? There's a lot of reasons why. There's a lot of fear there, fear of commitment.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been married before and don't want to be anymore. These are things you need to find out about somebody before you get into a relationship with them.
Honestly, a lot of times it's because they've already been through a divorce and they've like maybe lost a lot, or it's just a very heavy thing. So instead of going there and having this situation where you're sharing assets, property, and all that stuff, sometimes you don't want to go through that again. And I get it, but there are prenuptial agreements, there's that kind of stuff. But I've never asked you to get a prenup, so I don't know what that's like. No. Yes, you.
Yeah, I had so much at the beginning of the relationship.
I mean, listen, this may make a lot of people mad. I don't know. But I just feel like, prenuptial agreements, it's like, really? You can't. Okay, I understand.
This is a personal preference.
This is personal. I understand why you do it. But it's like, because you're like saying, well, I'm, maybe a spouse died. And so now you are, seeing somebody and you guys are getting married, but you want them to sign a prenuptial agreement because all the money was brought in, when before that person came into the relationship. But I just feel this way. It's like either you trust the person or you don't. I mean, you're getting married. You are cutting a covenant with each other again. This isn't just, I don't want to spend the rest of my life alone, so I'll just take this guy or this girl. No, this is a covenant relationship, just like what you have with Jesus. It's a covenant. It means way more than just that marriage certificate. It's way more than that. Just like your covenant with God, it means more. You don't even have a paper.
That's why they say when you get married, you're going into covenant with that person. A contract is what people sign between each other. That's why there are contracts with people, because people don't trust each other. I promise to do this, and you promise to do this. I'm putting it in writing so it's totally understood. That way no one can back out of what we said. But a covenant is something completely different. A covenant is like a promise that cannot be broken. It's something like that. It comes from the heart. It's a spiritual thing. So that's why a marriage is a covenant. And if I was going to have somebody put a new bathroom in my house, that's a contract. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whole different story.
Again, you know what? I've never had this situation. I don't know. I mean, but I feel this way no matter what, though. If I'm going to consider marrying somebody, I'm going to trust them 150,000%. So
you trust me 150,000%?
Yes, I do.
150,000%.
I do. Yes, even more. So again, what are all these things why someone could be mean to you? You know, why is your spouse mean to you?
I think a lot of it comes down to insecurity. The person, it all comes down to self. It's about looking at yourself, going like, oh, I'm so fearful. I have all these insecurities. That means you're not trusting the Lord. Whenever you're afraid of something, it means you're still trying to own it. You haven't given it to God yet.
That is the biggest problem through everything in life, that we are so basing everything on our own ability and our own strength, right? And then when that runs out, what do? Because if it was all based on that, it's based on faulty foundation, and any kind of wind or storm can come and knock it right off. So what do? What are the steps that you take so that you can have a very secure marriage? I mean, there's got to, it's like, you know, the way that we both were raised was we both saw a lot of verbal abuse, a lot of it. We saw a lot of physical abuse too.
A lot of anger, a lot of violence, and it all came out, at least in my case, all the stuff in my background came from 1,000% insecurity, past hurts that had not been dealt with. And I can look at it all. It's so great to be able to look at it back. It's so great to go look back now from a place of security and intelligence and adulthood and maturity.
Yeah.
I can look back now like I'm looking through a window of a television show going, okay, that happened because of this, that happened because of this, that happened because of this. And it all comes down to insecurity, fear, pride, which again is all about yourself, because it's all about you. And not putting the other person's needs ahead of your own. If you put someone's needs ahead of your own, your insecurity will instantly vanish. It's so funny. You put their needs ahead of your own, you're not worried about you anymore. You're worried about them. You know, if you put Christ's thoughts ahead of your own thoughts, your insecurity will vanish. If he says to you, you're more than a conqueror, that should be good enough. If God be for us, who can be against us? It's like, wow, I wish I had a friend like that. I wish I had a friend who would call me up and go, look, man, I'm right here. I got your back, whatever you need. I had someone last night actually tell me, one of my good friends, whatever you need, I'm here for you. And I can count on one hand the amount of times people have said that to me. And that was one of them, was last night. And I thank this friend of mine profusely. I'm like, no one's really ever said that to me. I said, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So putting other people's needs ahead of your own is huge.
It is. And so, and what happens, I think.
Has that ever happened to you guys? Have you guys ever had anybody offer themselves to you like that? Let us know.
Well, pride is a big problem. So when pride comes in, it says, pride goes before a fall. And so we just know when there's so much pride coming in, something is not going to line up and something's not going to work out. And you're not going to like the result of having all that pride. So when let's say that, again, I said earlier I was really cute because Lisa put black hearts on when I said that we'd come from abuse.
She always does the black hearts.
I know, you're so cute, Lisa.
Like Joan Jett and the Black Hearts from the 80s. Remember that movie?
But anyway, so we came from a lot of physical but verbal abuse. So what did you think was going to happen when Butch and I got into a relationship? Do you think, not the physical abuse, ever, never, ever, ever. But what about the verbal abuse? There were times where we would yell at each other horribly, which was just awful. Now, this is before Jesus came into our lives. So
even since Jesus came into our lives, we've had a lot of shouting matches. And it's unfortunate, like when you were going through your sickness, and I should say it wasn't your sickness, it was our sickness. Yes, you were the one affected by it.
The devil's sickness.
Well, when I say yours, it affected you physically, but it affected the whole family. That situation caused a lot of insecurity because the money started getting drained. You weren't feeling good. You were very upset, which made me upset because I couldn't fix it. So I was feeling inadequate. So those feelings of inadequacy and those feelings of fear came in. And when that feeling of inadequacy gets in, it is just nothing but a fear of not being enough. And that's hard for a man, especially. Amen. Yeah, Lisa, the hearts do come up black. It's weird. Lisa goes, the hearts come up black? They do.
I thought you meant those were like sad hearts.
No, it's been for years, by the way. You always put black hearts. It's weird. You had one post up here. Well, this post, the hearts came up pink. But
that's a heart with something in.
Well, let me show her this heart. These hearts, if you could see on our end. Well,
they're white.
They're white right there, but when we see them in the comment bar, they are
that's
black.
So funny.
That's so funny. So weird.
But anyway, going back to the why you're so mean to me. But that is, so what happens,
Not why am I so mean to you, the title.
no, why is someone so mean to you? But here's what happens. Somebody now, your spouse is mean, and they said something really
Hurtful.
mean, hurtful. And it's like this. It's like they take the knife and they shove it in your chest, in your heart.
Mm.
Now, I can pull it out.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've pulled it out.
Mm-hmm.
Knife is here, but there's a scar there.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get rid of those scars? That's what the main thing is that I can stab you a million times and I can pull it out and you'll heal from it. But what about that scar that's there? What about the scar tissue that develops from the scars? Because that's the stuff that sometimes people can't get over, and that's what causes divorce.
Yeah, for sure. And
that was really good.
You're doing great.
Sometimes you gotta pause on those things.
I did. I paused.
Okay.
For me, 2 seconds is a long pause. Hey, but anyway, guys, so, and when this person says, they have Rosa Maya says she has one friend like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Keep that friend.
Let me say this. We need to be that friend. We need to be the friend that says, hey, whatever you need, I'm here.
And all of us, you guys.
All of us, yeah. Because if we're that friend, then we always know that we're putting someone else's needs ahead of ours. And even if they call you on it, okay, yeah. I need this. You go and do it if you can. I had someone recently ask me to drive them from an appointment. I need you to pick me up after this appointment. I was like, okay, I will, because I promised I would. And it was not the first thing I wanted to do that day, but you know what? I went and did it, and it worked out great. And we had a good conversation. So it was probably something I needed to do anyway, because I work too much and I sit at my desk too much. I needed to get out into the fresh air and do this. And so, but when you can stretch your heart and make room for other people, it's only going to grow you as a person. And I don't mean to sound so cliche, like, oh, personal growth, but why do we want to sit?
Personal growth is good.
It is. But why do we want to sit and be angry all the time? Why do you want to sit and be offended all the time? Why do we want to sit and be, like feeling less than all the time? I don't want to feel less than.
Well, that's why with a lot of issues, you hear from people that have been married 40, 50 years, and it's like, yeah, we don't really do anything together anymore. He just sits on the couch and does nothing, or she does the same thing.
When's the last time we sat on the couch, by the way?
I don't even know.
It's been quite a while. We sit at our counter at night.
Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. But let me just say this. Hold on for the thought.
She's just going to say this. We
enjoy each other. Like we this is what we love to do together. So we sit on the counter and we talk about things, or we're sharing things on YouTube or something like that. That's what we love to do. We don't sit on the couch. We don't sit and watch TV. There's just not even
There's really nothing I like anymore. That's on anymore.
I know. There's really nothing there. So
There's some things I'll watch.
Do we sit in the living room and just watch TV? No, we actually sit on our counter in our kitchen and we talk. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about business, of course. We talk about our daughters. We talk about like things that are coming up, in the future. But when I hear some of these stories of these people that have been married like 40, 50 years, and it's like, no, I just do my own thing. And he doesn't really want to go out, or she doesn't really want to do anything anymore. They're just bitter. They're mad. It's like there are things that happen in people's lives. Yes, they do. They happen. Someone hurts us. A business looks like, that it, in your eyes have completely failed. Some people cannot forgive themselves for some of the failures that they've experienced, or they can't forgive somebody else that they feel stole a part of their life. If you're going to sit in that.
Someone stole a part of their life. That's pretty big. Explain that.
Well, no, meaning that somebody, they stole a part of your life because it turned out that they were a liar and they were, misguiding you or misleading you all that time.
So you spent the best years of your life with this person.
Yeah.
And then you find out the person's been a fraud the whole time or whatever.
That could be devastating. And I get that.
And that could also make you bitter toward a new relationship in the future. And it's really unfortunate.
There comes the prenuptial agreement. But anyway, no, but what I'm saying is that I hate to see anybody in the last, let's say 15 years or 20 years of their life not be happy anymore with their spouse, but see, that's why we're doing this, because something that might have come up like at your 30-year marriage now could be maybe resolved, so that in your 50 or 60 years of marriage, that got resolved right there. So now you're not miserable. Why not be able to have the most amazing life from start to finish. Why not? Why not finish this race here in this world strong with your spouse and loving and having a great time? Like, why does it have to go to bitterness and anger and pride and like we don't even, why does it have to go there? It doesn't have to.
Sadness and all this. We were talking with our financial manager today because listen, we want to be wise in our finances. So we were just talking about, hey, we want to do these certain things and how do we go about doing these things? But the great thing was we had the conversation together with this guy. It wasn't like me making decisions on my own and her making decisions on her own. It's like, we are going to go into this together. And what do you think the best plan of action is? And even if it's a small thing, I only point out the financial manager thing because maybe sometimes it's good to talk to somebody who has information that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't afford a counselor. Forget the counselor. Counselor. Your grandmother can be a counselor if she had a great marriage. Your mother can be your father, your grandparents or whatever can be. If they've got a great marriage, ask them what are some of the keys. Sometimes it's almost like when Jesus went to his hometown, it says a prophet is not without honor except in his own hometown. They didn't respect Jesus because they grew up with him. They knew him. They're like, that's the kid who's the savior of the world. That's that kid I grew up with. They don't respect him. Sometimes we look at our own family and we don't respect them because they're our family. And we go like, oh, that's just grandpa. What does he know? Well, they might have a lot of knowledge about good marriage. And well, that's just grandma and grandpa. They're these silly old people. But why don't you ask them why they're together still?
How are they together still? And what values did they stand on? And like what was a deal breaker for them? Like there are many things that we have to talk about so that, like for instance, we've got 2 daughters. We have to model. We have been modeling what a marriage is like since day one.
Yep.
We've
done our best to model
perfect by any means.
Yep.
But you talk about, you teach your kids how to communicate. You teach your kids how to share. You teach your kids how to love your spouse no matter what's going on. Like it's not just I don't like the way you do that, so I'm out of here. Unfortunately, what I was taught was if it doesn't work, if it's gets a little too hairy for you,
you can always get divorced.
You can always get divorced. That's what I was taught. As a matter of fact, on our wedding day, I said to my mom who gave me away, I said, oh my God, I said, what if this doesn't work? And she said, well, you can always get a divorce. Now I'm saying that because my mom didn't know any better.
Her mom's been divorced 4 times. But my mom 3 times.
Yeah.
The last one died.
Yeah. But my mom is an amazing woman, but she never had a marriage based on biblical principles. She was married to a lot of abusive men. So that's why she doesn't have, she didn't have the right words to say to me. But it's okay because but my mom got saved 20 years ago and her whole life is different now. And she would have said something differently that day.
Totally. But when you can put the Lord in the middle of your decision-making process, you won't just rush into something because you feel, oh my gosh, my clock is ticking. I better get married now.
I know.
And the first person you see is going to be the lucky recipient. That might not be the intended person. Yes, God will make that work. Yes, God can make anything work. But maybe there's a plan that God has for you that were you to listen to him a little more closely, you'd understand what the plan is. I can't.
Keith Nance's parents have been married 62 years.
My friend Keith Nance, let me see.
My God.
My parents have been married 62 years in February. That's amazing, Keith Nance.
That is awesome.
If Keith invented a dance, it'd be called the Nance dance.
The Nance dance.
Yeah, and if it was a dance in your pants, it'd be the Nance pants dance. I'm just saying, there's a lot of cool words around with Nance. We love Keith. Thank you, Keith.
Yes, Keith, you're amazing, and he's an amazing writer as well.
Yeah, he writes.
He's working on a project with us. But anyway, yes, we need those people around so that we can look at their lives and want to be like them. Meaning that we're going to strive for this. This is, I would hope. Again, some people do, even myself. I would hope that most people are getting married because they really are considering spending the rest of their life together.
Because
you don't realize that when you're 20 and now you're in your 60s and you're like, wow, we've been married 40 years.
Because God wants you to be stronger, not weaker. Everything in the Bible is to make you stronger, not weaker. Everything. And having someone in your life to back you up, to be with you, to to be there to comfort you in a physical way, in a spiritual way, having a wife or a husband. It's a wonderful thing because it makes you stronger as a person, and you build a family. You build what's called a legacy. You build a family tree that can then make the world a better place. I always ask people, do you want to be a new branch on your family tree or be in the same old tree?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with the tree if that's the way you want it to be. But I had to form a new branch in my family tree. I had to form a new branch in my situation. And I have, praise the Lord. And I give Jesus all the credit for that. He's the one who changed my heart and pointed me down the road to where I needed to go. Because I allowed myself, that's a cough drop, by the way, I was holding this in my hand. But he's the one who pointed me in the right direction as to where I needed to go and what I needed to do. And the one thing I had to do big time was change my heart. Why are we so mean to each other? We haven't changed our heart.
Yes.
We have not changed our heart. There's a bunch of examples in the Bible of people that were mean. Paul the Apostle is a great example. Very mean guy, very scary guy, was a murderer. And then Jesus went, yep, he's the guy that I'm going to use. And so he's the one who's going to, Paul's the one who's going to write most of the New Testament and help change the world for Christ.
Why do I want to sing that song? If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
Is that Kelly Clarkson?
Yeah.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Wait a little longer. I think that's how it goes.
I think it's that.
I'm too old to know that song.
But the bottom line is this, and we do have to go because we got to get ready for our Bible study that's starting here live in Calabasas.
At 7 p.m. We do a 7 p.m. Bible study.
If anybody is ever in the neighborhood,
yep.
This is the place to come.
You can email me at that address I put in the chat, and you can get the address, or you can go on our Facebook pages, and if you instant message us, we will send you the address. We don't put it out publicly. If you privately message us, we will send it to you.
It's an amazing place to come, and we see a lot of miracles happen. We see, it's not just the miracles. We're not like chasing after signs and wonders.
It's cool they happen as like a byproduct.
They do, but what we're seeing is discipleship has gone forth, and we're seeing people's lives change. Not the quick, fix, the snap your fingers, but a lifestyle changing. And that's what's been the best of it all. So no matter what, why are you so mean to your spouse? Stop being mean to your spouse. Like literally find out, okay, why am I so angry? Ask yourself that question. Why are you so angry? What are you mad about? Because I'll tell you what, it's probably you're not mad at your spouse. You're probably mad at yourself because you haven't gotten any further in that job, or your career did not go the way you thought it was. A lot of times it's about you, and that's called pride. And so I'm just saying that not everybody, this is not going to be the case for everybody, but if it is the case for you, you have the opportunity right now to say to the Lord, how do I change this? Show me what to do, and he will show it to you.
Amen. All right, guys, have a wonderful week. Let us know what topics you want us to talk about. Leave a comment on this video. We'd love to hear more about what you're interested in. What can a married couple like us teach you? We've been in Hollywood for over 35 years. We live in California. We have 2 kids. We've been through a lot of stuff, and we love the Lord. So there's been all kinds of fun stuff and some interesting stuff in our walk. So we've been through a lot. So we can help you with a lot of things.
Yes,
so
we can.
Let us know. We love you, and see you next week.
Bye.